Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. The hat I'm teaching today is the Marabella Crochet Hat. It's super simple, super cute, and can be made in any size. The written pattern for this project is also available in the iCard link above, so come along and we'll get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This hat that I'm going to teach you guys how to make today is actually a ribbed hat, and it's worked not in the round. It will be worked back and forth. It's really very unisex. Men can wear this hat, women can wear this hat. You can make it for children. And the pattern that you're going to be getting for this hat through Etsy will have a couple of different sizes. One will be just what you see here. This is not a slouchy hat. This one actually just fits very snugly. And then the other one will be the slouchy version, which will actually have a different size hook that you'll be using to make the body. So anyway, there are 64 stitches in the band with a size H crochet hook. And then we're going to use a size J to make the body for this particular hat on the video today. Here's what you're going to need to make the hat. Again, size H and J hooks. You need a pair of scissors. I would recommend having a stitch marker because when we work back and forth, you don't want to lose that beginning chain in order to join your row. Also, you may decide you'd like to have a measuring tape just in case 64 is not going to work for you. Any number for this hat works. It doesn't matter how many you chain. If you have a specific size head, like say a size 22, you're going to want your hat across, your band across, when it's stretched to measure out the 22 inches, or unstretched, you want it to be around 18 inches. So this will come in handy for that. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started today. And also you will be needing a basic 4 worsted weight yarn. So here's your sizing if you're new to using yarn. This is where you find your size. These are the size hooks that it recommends, and knitting needles. This is in baby pink, and it's Lion brand yarns, basic stitch, anti-pilling. And I got this at Joann's Fabric. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first thing we need to do is make a slip knot. With your size H hook, insert the hook, and we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you've watched my other videos in these tutorial projects when we're doing crochet bands, you know that I always have a specific way that I do it. I always work in the space underneath the loop where the yarn is coming through when I do a single crochet band. So this one here is going to be the second space from your hook. So in the second space from your hook, go ahead and make a single crochet and single crochet across the row to the end for 10 single crochets. Okay, and you get down to the end here, you want to chain 1. Your chain 1 is going to be the very first single crochet of your next row. Go ahead and turn. In the post right here in the back loop, you're going to make what will be considered your second single crochet because your chain counted as the first. So now you have 2 single crochets, and then work 1 single crochet in every back loop space across the row until you have exactly 10. Make sure to keep count. And this right here will be your very last space. That should be 10 right there. And then chain 1 and do the same thing over again. Turn your work. This chain counts as the first single crochet of this row. And in that first post in the back loop, make your second single crochet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Make sure to watch your tension so that your stitches are not too loose or too tight. Chain 1, turn your work in the first post here, the back loop, make your second single crochet and all the way across. And this is all you're going to do for the entire band. And as I said, you need to have exactly 64 rows for the hat that I am making, and it actually fits a size 22 head. So it would be around 18 inches in length before it's stretched, which would be the exact size you need. So go ahead and continue doing this exact same thing across the band, and I will meet you at the end of the band and we will slip stitch the band together. Okay, so I finished my band and I'm going to show you what I've done. There are actually only 60 rows. In this particular hat there are 62, and I believe that it's because of the type of yarn that it is. It doesn't have quite as much stretch to it, so there's 64 rows. With this one here, the stretch is a little different, and so I've put 60 rows in, and let's see what it measures before we stretch it. So right now it's 16.5. So I would say you'd want your hat around, I would say for a head around 22 inches around, you would want it between 16.5 and 17. And I wouldn't go beyond 17 because it probably would make it too loose. If for some reason you think that that's going to be too small, you make it that size and it's still too small, go up to 17.5, but I would not go past that. Now, another thing you can do is take this band and wrap it around your head like this, around where the band will fit on your head until the sides or the ends touch. If you don't want to measure, just wrap that around your own head and see where it comes to. If it's still gapping, add a couple more rows. If it's touching already, go ahead and stop, because at that point when you stretch this out, then it's going to fit you and without a problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and joining this band together. What you want to do, continue with your size H hook. Bring the two ends together, and we're going to slip stitch. So making sure the ends come together like this. Very end of that side, grab your yarn and pull it through both loops. And then you're just going to go through both loops here, front to back, and then slip stitch it together, just like that, until you have 10 slip stitches. So far that's 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and right in here at the very end on both sides is 10. And that is the end of that. Now what I like to do is flip my band inside out like this, so that this part right here is on the inside, and out here you can't see where it's been slip stitched. Alright. However, with this particular hat you don't have to do that, because it's going to be the same stitch on the outside and on the inside of the hat, so you can just go ahead and work it like this. Now we're going to go ahead and change our hook to the size J and continue. Alright, go ahead and chain 2, working in the peaks and the valleys. We are going to be working into this space and this space. So this is one space, this is one stitch, this is a stitch, stitch, stitch. So you'll know where each spot will be that we'll be working into. Okay, so your chain 2 counts as the first half double crochet of your row, and we will be using only half double crochets in this pattern. So what I would do right now get your locking stitch marker or any kind of stitch marker that you have, even if it's just a piece of yarn, and go ahead and put it straight through this, right through this area here. Some of these are not that great. They're kind of, they don't want to open up. This will signify the chain. When we get done working around, we'll know exactly where we need to connect the row. All right, so in the space right here, we're going to work a half double crochet. In the open space right here, we'll be working another half double crochet. In this stitch right here, we're making another half double crochet. One right here. Here, here. So now you know what they look like. Okay, in this row, this row. So that's where we're going to be making our half double crochets. You're not adding any. There's no increases. There's no decreases. We'll be making exactly one half double crochet in the side of each row that you've made. So if you have 60 rows, you're going to have 60 stitches in the band. If you have 64 rows, you're going to have 64 stitches. And as I said before, there is no right or wrong count for this because we're not doing anything specific like cables. This is going to be nothing but half double crochet stitches. Therefore, you don't need to worry about the count. Make this hat the way it will fit you, or that will fit the person that you're making it for, and you're good to go. Okay, so go ahead and work this row all the way around until you have the same amount of stitches as you do rows, and then you'll meet me at the end and we will join the row together. All right, so I have exactly 60 half double crochets. What you're going to want to do is go back and count and make sure you have the exact amount. And then right here where your stitch marker is, that is your chain. So at the top of the chain, right where that stitch marker is sitting, in that same space, you can remove the marker if that helps, because you'll be moving it anyway. Right in the top of that space, you're going to go ahead and join your row with a slip stitch, and then you're going to chain 2. And then you can go ahead and put the stitch marker back on into the loop here so we can find it next time, and then you're going to turn your work. And now we're going to work the opposite direction. Now in this row, we're not working through the front spaces, we are working through the back loop right here. So you'll notice with the half double crochet, you have a leg, and a leg. There are 3 legs on a half double crochet. The front leg here, the middle leg here, and the back leg here. We're going to be working through the back leg and making half double crochets all the way around. So go ahead and do this row on your own, and I will meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so I am at the end of the row, and I'm going to go ahead and go up here on the chain where my stitch marker is and take that stitch marker out. Right there where the stitch marker was, I'm going to go ahead and join my row. There we go. Now we're going to chain 2, turn the work, and now we're going to do exactly what we did the last round throughout the entire hat. And what you're going to need to do is work half double crochets in the back loops of every row for 9 rows. So this counts as your first row, and then we're going to start on row 2. Like I said, just making half double crochets all the way around until you get to the end of the row. So go ahead and make exactly 9 complete rows of half double crochets. I will meet you at the end of row 9, where I will join my row with you. Okay, so here is what my hat looks like so far. I'm at the end of row 9. If you're not sure what row you're on, count from here. This is the very first row that you did along your band. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so once you get all the way to the end of row 9, you're going to go ahead and slip stitch your row together. I took my my stitch marker out because I really just don't need it. Now we're going to move on to our decreases. And the way we're going to do this, in the original hat that I made, this blue one here, as I said, there were 64 rows here. So there were 64 stitches. And what I did is basically I did in order to decrease, I did a multiple of 64. And so I came up with 8 times 8, obviously. So what I did is I had the math set for decreasing every row and making it perfectly even every single row. But because we are going to be making this to be custom fit for you or whoever you're making this for, we are not going to follow an actual amount of rows. We're going to have you measure them to see if the band is finished, and then you're going to just work the amount of stitches in the body that there are rows in the band. So in this case, what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and chain your 2 and turn your work. And now we will be decreasing by 2. So this chain space right here counts as your first half double. We're going to make another half double crochet right here, and then we're going to decrease the next 2. The way you do that is you go underneath that back leg and bring it up like you were going to make a half double, but instead of finishing those 3 loops, you're going to come over here into the next one, and you're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through till you have 4. Now you've just pushed these 2 stitches together, and go ahead and finish by pulling through all 4 loops on the hook, and then we're going to make 2 half double crochets in a row, and then we're going to decrease by 2 again. Same way we did the last one, we're going to do it here. Okay, and then we're going to make 2 half double crochets, okay, and then we're going to move on to another decrease. So that is the pattern for this row. Make 2 double crochets in a row, and then make your decrease of 2. 2 half double crochets, 2 decreases, 2 half double crochets, 2 decreases, 2 half double crochets, 2 decreases. And that's what you're going to do for the entirety of this row. Go ahead and finish off, come up to where we're going to join the row, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so here I am at the end of the first decrease row. I'm going to go ahead and make my final decrease here. Now I will say this, if you guys are decreasing this way and you have an odd number of stitches, what you're going to want to do is if you have an odd number of stitches and for some reason it doesn't add up at the end and you don't have 2 areas to decrease, all you need to do is come into the space here next to where your chain is and just go ahead and continue the decrease here, and then go ahead and connect to your chain. It's not going to be noticeable, but you'll have the amount of stitches that you need. Okay, go ahead and join your row, chain 2, and turn your work. Alright, so now in this row all you're going to do is 1 half double crochet in every back loop space around, just like we did the other rows. There's no decreases on this row, so go ahead and do this row to the end and I will meet you where we join the round. Alright, so here I am at the end of this particular row. Now what's going to happen is this. In the row before, when we were doing 2 half double crochets and 1 increase, we wound up with an odd number of stitches. This is if you started out with an even number of stitches. If you're at this row here, this first decrease row, you will wind up with an odd number. And when you have 60 stitches at the beginning, then you're going to wind up, after this decrease row, you're going to wind up with exactly 45 stitches. So right now I'm at 43. I have 44 and 45. What I'm going to do here is decrease this last one, because I don't need this extra stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and decrease this one and then join my row. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain 2 and turn my work. And now we're going to do another decrease row. This is your first half double crochet. We're going to do exactly what we did with the first decrease row. Make 2 half double crochets, okay, your chain and your half double, and then do your decrease in the right place. Okay, so we have 2 half doubles, 1 decrease. 2 half doubles in a row, 1 decrease. 2 half doubles in a row, 1 decrease. 2 half doubles in a row, 1 decrease. And I'm going to go ahead and have you guys finish this off on your own for this row. At the end, I will join the row with you. Here I am at the end of this row, my decrease row, and I'm going to do that final decrease here. It's possible because there are an even amount of stitches. Now let me show you guys something. If for some reason you have a hard time getting that back loop there, let's see if I can see it here. All you have to do is pull it up with your fingernail or get your hook and come up underneath of it and pull it up like this. Well, if it'll catch on, because sometimes they're slippery. But in either case, you can get that spot to open up for you. So go ahead and put your hook through that space. Sometimes they're tough. And then go ahead and make that final decrease. And we are going to join the row. Okay. All right, so here we are. We just chained 2 after joining the round. We're going to turn our work, and in this row we're going to make half double crochets all the way around in every space to the end of the row. So I'm going to go ahead and have you do that here on your own, and I will meet you over here when we make the last 2 stitches. All right, so here I am at the end of this round, and I've actually wound up with 33 total stitches around, and right now I'm on 31. So the very last 2 here, so I don't have 33, an odd number, I'm going to go ahead and make that final decrease in this round. This was not a decrease round, but this is where we're going to make our decrease if you wound up with an odd number. And then we're going to go ahead and join the row. So honestly, when I'm showing you guys how to make all these hats, I'm showing you different ways to make them. There's not one set algorithm or pattern that you have to follow to make a hat. You want to make sure they're going to fit. You want to be able to do math and figure the stuff out in order to get them correct so that they're not, you know, wonky and all over the place. But this is just one way that you can decrease without having to have specific, you know, math, you know, every single row or whatever when you're decreasing. And this actually makes it really easy for, especially for beginners, people who have never made anything in the round before. So I highly recommend this way because you can, again, you can use odd or even numbers. It doesn't matter. Although I do suggest, obviously for this hat, I would suggest starting out with even numbers. It makes it easier. Okay, go ahead and chain 2 and turn your work. So we are going to make one more decrease row, and then that's going to be the end of it. So we have our chain of 2, which is our first half double crochet, and we're going to make another half double crochet here, and then we're going to decrease here. 2 half double crochets in a row, and 1 decrease. 2 half double crochets in a row, and then 1 decrease. 2 half double crochets in a row, 1 decrease. 2 half double crochets in a row, and 1 decrease. And this is what you're going to do for the entirety of this row, and I will meet you over here at the end. Okay, so we're going to end the row with a decrease, and then we are going to join our round top of the chain, and we are finished. At this point, if you want to try the hat on to see if it's all the way up to the top of your head, now's a good time. If it's not, you can make another row of nothing but half double crochets. We want it to make sure that it fits over your ears here, and that up here it isn't sticking up over the top of your head, that it's actually, when you pull it down on your head, that it's actually up here, closed, and touches the top of your dome. So go ahead and try the hat on now and see what happens. You can either go ahead and weave up the top of your hat now, or you can add just complete decreases all the way around the top of the hat. If you are adding another one, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So go ahead and do what you're going to do now, and I will meet you when I'm done with my row, and then I'll show you how I sew up the top of my hat and how I am going to add a pom-pom to the top of this hat. Okay, so the top of my hat is finished. What I did is just all decreases around. And then what I need to do is get out my scissors and cut the yarn. There's not a whole lot to sew up here on my hat, so I'm only going to leave kind of a little bit of yarn. I'm not going to have a long piece. I am going to be tying on a pom-pom, so I will leave enough to help with that chore, because it is kind of a chore to put on a pom-pom, but they just look so cute that it's totally worth it. Alright, so get out your trusty yarn needle, because this is going to be part of what you're going to need. Okay, so once you've cut your yarn, you're going to take the piece of string that's left, and you're going to pull it through this final loop. That's where your hook was, and then just pull it down. Now you're going to thread your needle, and you just want to weave this up here. So we're going to start here and go between the posts like this, and then just pull that through, and do the same all the way around until your hole is completely closed up. You might decide to go down inside and sew the hole up even more. That's up to you. Mine is completely closed right now. What I'm going to go ahead and do is put my needle down through the center where the hole was, pull it up through the middle of the inside of the hat, and I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to use it to tie on my pom-pom. If you don't have a pom-pom, that's fine. I'm just going to show you how to affix one. Alright, so I actually have two pom-poms here. I have one in like this gray and sort of an off-white. It's very pretty. It's by Yarnology. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I also found this one over there at Hobby Lobby as well. They are both $3.99, and you can find them in the yarn section where the crochet hooks and knitting needles are. Okay, so I'm going to have to decide whether I want this pink one or this one on the pink. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the pink. Now you have these on the pom-pom. Basically what needs to happen is I need to take and pull the strand back out, because the last ones that I bought had a much longer piece that actually went down inside the hat. So we're going to go ahead and do something a little different this time. Just take your yarn and go up underneath there, pull it all the way down, and then pop your yarn back inside the hat where you brought the needle through. Pull it tight, and then you're going to make a knot. You're going to make a knot right here in this part of the yarn. And knot it as if you were sewing it. So you want it to go once and then twice, and then pull that down as tight as you can without ripping the yarn. And then you're just going to hide your yarn throughout the inside. Go around in a circle, you can go back and forth, it's up to you. However you want to hide your yarn is fine, as long as you don't go all the way through so it shows on the outside of the hat where you're going to be showing it off. Okay, so go ahead and snip that off. Now the pom-pom is on. Now what you might have to do, if it's too wobbly, what you might want to do is go back in there with more yarn and try to grab the fabric that's in here, and put the needle through, and then take it through the other side of the hat and, you know, try to get it on there. Or you might put a little bit of hot glue on here and squish it down, and that'll hold it on too. It just kind of depends on how you're going to be washing your hat. If you're going to wash it in the washing machine, which I do not recommend, by the way, especially with the pom-pom, because these things don't last in the wash, I would say to sew it, but knowing myself, I will just put a couple dabs of hot glue on here and push this down until it's affixed and it won't move anymore. Okay, now we just have to remember to do this last bit of yarn that we had from when we started the hat. So go ahead and thread your needle. Let's bring this into focus. Okay, so we want to take this into the inside of the hat and pull that through so you can't see it anymore. And then you're just going to hide your yarn through the raised bumps on the inside here. Just go all the way down. Make sure it's not going through the other side of the hat. Your finger back here can tell, because you'll probably poke yourself. So just go ahead and do it like this. Back up the other way, under a different fiber, and then straight up until you come through, and that's it. Snip it off, and there you go. So there you guys have it. This cute little ribbed hat. I will have the pattern up, as I said before, in my Etsy store, available for you guys to grab it for just $2.99. And if you have any questions about this hat at all, you can go ahead and let me know in the comment section below, or you can send me an email at fibertheory@yahoo.com. This hat is really, really simple, and there's really nothing to it. If you have issues with the decreasing, let me know, because I can walk you through it. You can let me know whether you have even or odd numbers in the rows, and I can help you sort it out. Anyway, y'all, so I have this pink one, and then the one I made earlier. I'll just kind of throw this up here, and they're awfully cute, aren't they? So this one will probably get put on this hat, actually, or I might wait and put it on a different one. I don't know yet, or I'll just have to go buy another one, because all my hats are going to have these on them. Left these pom-poms, think they're adorable. Anyway, y'all, there you go. I hope you liked today's video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have any issues with this video, please let me know in the comment below rather than give me a thumbs down, because I don't know what the thumbs down are for. Sometimes the bots come in and they just kind of dislike videos for no apparent reason. So if you guys do dislike the video, go ahead and give me a reason why so I can make my videos better for you. And thank you so much for watching today. I hope you guys come back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe because we're going to have a bunch of new videos come out. As some of you know, I've been teaching knitting. Next week's video will be the very first knitting tutorial for an actual knitting project. So you don't want to miss it. Come on back, see me again. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a great night. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and for all the latest updates on future projects, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the handle @FiberTheory. Remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon for all future project notifications. Have a great day.